Welcome back to Talking Wolves, and welcome to the final part of our Sell, Loan, Keep series. On today's video, we're going to be looking at the Wolves forwards. On this series, we look at the players that we'd like to keep, loan or sell for the 23-24 season. My name is Dave. Alongside me today, we've got Mr. Matt Cooper. Matt, how are we?
I feel like I haven't seen you in ages. Yeah, I'm great. Thanks, mate. Looking forward to this one.
No problem. We've got George Russell. George, how are we?
I'm all good. I can't believe we're all wearing the same clothes for the third night running.
I know.
Bunch of scrubs.
How you got Finn Morris? Finn, how are we?
Oh, good. Yeah, felt good 2 nights ago. Great last night. Feeling great tonight as well. Let's go.
I still need to take this ASOS return back.
Yeah. Like I said, we're going to be looking at the forwards in today's video. Wolves finishing as the lowest goal scorers in the Premier League, averaging 2 little goals over the last 3 or 4 seasons or so. So I'm sure there's going to be some comments about these players. Matt, we'll kick off with you. We're looking at Pedro Neto.
Ooh, difficult one, this, isn't it? From what the Express and Star report and various other outlets, that he could be someone who's moved on. It's real shame, because when he first came onto the scene, he was excellent, real breath of fresh air, proper old-fashioned winger, so direct. But injuries have plagued his career, I think, and just doesn't look the same player. He has been played out of position for the last couple of years when he has played, though. But yeah, I wouldn't be adverse to selling him if you could get a decent fee for him. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. What are your thoughts on how much you reckon you could get for him?
Jordan, what do you reckon?
I'd 100% sell him.
I think
I'll just say, so he had a horrible injury, and again, I'm trying to put this as politely as possible, because he did have a bad injury where I think he dislocated his knee. I think he's been pathetic this season. And again, I know he's been injured at times. I think he's lost. I just don't think he's anywhere near what he was. And again, another thing, saw Arsenal linked with him 35 million quid in the week. I'm like, he ain't worth that anymore. Like, he just isn't. He's nowhere near dynamic as he was. I don't think he takes on a man like he used to either. I just don't think I think he's half the player he was, if that. And if you got any sort of decent money for him, I'd sell him, because I think he adds nothing to our team. And I might be being a bit harsh, but I just don't see it anymore.
What do you think for him?
I'd still like to see another stint of, say, 10 consecutive games of him on the left. I don't get this thing where a couple of managers in a row now have tried to do the sort of on the right cutting in. I saw someone say earlier on Twitter, I think it was a Liverpool fan, saying that there's a real lack of left-footed right wingers on the market, and whether that's Wolves are almost trying to force their own, but it's just never worked. Yeah, almost, but it's never worked. I still think, I don't know whether I'm being a little bit generous, that might still be a play there if you saw that sort of that he had that in that, was it the Europa League season, those starts as a left winger, and we saw unbelievable performances. But as you say, the injuries really harmed him. I think it's probably a bit of wishful thinking on my part, and if you got upwards of 20 million, you'd probably be looking at a sell. But I would like to keep him personally.
I'd probably keep him as well. But Matt, what do you think though? I understand, obviously everyone's got a value and there is certain values there, but I think there is a player there.
I don't know. Maybe with a pre-season and keeping fit again, his fitness issue is a problem for me. He can't keep fit, can he? So I think if someone comes in and offers 25 million for him, 30 million for him, which I don't think they would, I think you sell him. But you say there's a lack of left-footed right wingers, but he's not a right winger for as long as I've got hole up my backside. Yeah. No. So it's not. He's nowhere near cute enough, intelligent enough to play that. You need to almost play in the pocket a little bit, don't you? Not that gay pal.
One of his strengths is actually getting down the one and driving back down towards goal on the left.
He's a great striker with the ball as well. Like, that's one of his best attributes, I think. But how many times have we seen him go on the outside and beat a man and flash the ball across the box? Very, very, probably a couple of times. Yeah. Confidence as well, I think. I know it's cliche, but...
No, I think it's massively confidence as well. I just don't think he's got the confidence in himself now to do what he used to do in terms of do a step over and just like just glide past a bloke. I just don't think he's got
He's
that
really
in
good
him
at that.
anymore.
He used to be great.
He used to be really good at that. And I think this is the thing now as well, to caveat probably what's going to be, especially in this section more so than the other two we've done, is that sentiment piece. Like, we're in a position, precarious position, whether that be ability, effort, that financial position. I just feel like if people aren't cutting it, we're going to have to, there's going to be some like icons or legends in past years that we're just going to have to say, see you later too. And for me, Neto just isn't what he was. I'd honestly snap your hand off for a decent bid.
I think we put keep, but I can fully appreciate the comments about moving him on. I think, like I say, he's got a value, and I think if clubs do meet it, then there's definitely a discussion there to be had. But
I'm happy to keep.
But let's move on to Jimenez. Finn, we'll start off with you. I know he's your boy, but weird. Lopeteg's made comments about him potentially staying, but the way that he's captioned on Instagram over the weekend, I think he pretty much said once a wolf, always a wolf, and this sort of stuff. Almost, and his reaction at the end of the game against Everton almost makes you think he's probably going to move on.
Yeah, if Collins was George's golden buzzer, this can be mine. But the Arsenal performance, it wasn't great. He was poor, albeit very isolated. I don't know whether Lopetegui was almost doing that to go, well, because Wolves fans were moaning so much, well, here you go. And he isn't the same player. I spent the weekend, the Sunday evening on the coach back watching Code Red, watching it was like him as the best 10 goal for Wolves, and he's still getting it. No, but like it's just sort of I was just in my feelings, and it is sad to see how it's gone.
My feelings.
I was just like 4 hours.
Well, him and his top 10 goals, that is jokes, man.
Well, what did your mission think you?
She's watching with me. She's watching with me. It's great stuff. But it's he wants to stay. He wants to stay within Europe, as we were discussing on the podcast last week. It's probably not. It's the most likely thing is going either back to Mexico, America, or to Saudi, or one of the ones like that. But if he gets, I'd like to see. Not a British club, but maybe a European move for him, so he's not completely against his will. I think a move to Club America, I don't think he's going to hate doing that. That'd be a nice ending almost if he could see out his career there. But yeah, on a whole, it's probably a sell. But I just don't like how you're not playing him, you disrespect him, you keep him out the squad, then you want him to stay. It's like, just give us just be straight with him.
Black or white answer,
yeah. Does he really want to go back to Mexico though? Because I've not been to Mexico, and I've not been to where the Club America is situated, but I'm going to guess it's probably not the nicest.
It's in Mexico City, which is like the most,
So I can understand why he wants to stay in Europe.
Place, yeah.
How about a reunion with Nuno back in Nuno Al Ittihad?
I would love that. Him and Costa would have played together.
But Adama goes there too. I don't know what is the foreign player or like certain wage rules over there, but
they've got. I think they're like their MVP, so to speak. Is
designated player.
I don't think it's not even designated player, but they've got Hagaza. He's played for the Albion. They've got Helder Costa, and they've got that.
He'll be going though.
Romarinho, isn't it? Could you imagine Adama, Costa, and Raul up front for a Nuno team? I'd move over there.
Life in. You can if you like, but I won't be there.
Just for those 3 cheers.
Did you see him do that? He won the league, didn't he? And he did it, and it was like the deadest response I've ever heard.
Their stadium's absolutely huge, though, isn't it? It's like 62,000 seater. Al Ittihad. I don't know what their. I think their average attendance might be about 20,000, but we digress.
Yeah. We'll wait and see. Jimenez, I think it was a sell. Jordy, you agree? Great play, by the way, before the injury, obviously.
Unbelievable. Best number 9 in my lifetime. Before pre-injury, 100%.
What about Derek Parker?
Before Derek Dugan. All before like Andy Gray, all them.
I don't think Derek Parker was a striker, was he? That's
no, he was. He really was. Situation sad. He again takes sentiment out of it. He's been appalling for a while. post-injury, he has. Just like, and that hurts to say, but it's the truth. Free transfer. See you later. He didn't offer anything to this Wolves team anymore. And I know that's sad to say, and I know Finn's gutted about that, but he really don't offer anything to this Wolves team anymore. I feel like Lopetegui did him really dirty with the Everton stuff. Like, I'd really disagree with that. But it's quite clear with all the stuff that went on in the World Cup, and I know it's been referenced a few times on the pod, Lopetegui ain't got any time for him. He probably thinks Jimenez and his team, his PR team, are like wankers. How all that World Cup fiasco happened. No, I'm just being honest. That's what it is. Like, there's no love lost between those two parties, and that's why I think Lopetegui knew exactly what he was doing with that Everton game. Like, I know he can say, "Oh, it was a mistake" or whatever. He knew exactly what he was doing.
From both parties, though, it seems very petulant. Like,
100%.
you got Jimenez's missus tweeting Mystic Meg swag note number 422 bollocks that you did on MySpace or Bebo. Like, just, I know you expect your missus to fight your corner, but bloody hell, there's like ways and means of doing it. The whole thing's just embarrassing. I'd get rid of him. What a footballer though. What a footballer before the injury, but unfortunately, he just hasn't been the same, and he's on a king's ransom as well. So, if you can afford to ship him out, someone coming for him, then absolutely get rid of him.
I think he's going to be like Jimenez, probably maybe Johnny as well. If you're going to lose players, Wolves are probably going to have to cover part of their wage for another year or so as well. So
if you get rid of like Johnny, you get rid of Moutinho, you get rid of potentially Neves, you get rid of Jimenez, you're probably saving 16-17 million pound worth a year, 60 million pound a year on wages there. That's massive. So yeah, there's an incentive for him to go.
Yeah. Podence, Matt. Apparently missing from the matchday squad at Arsenal with a nose surgery.
Yeah. I'd sell him. Got a year left on his deal. Divisive character. Seems a bit of a whinger. So, yeah, on his day, quite a good player. Creates quite a few chances for us. Top scorer. But yeah, I'd get rid of him. It's too inconsistent and too much of a knob on social media for me. So and he blocked Dave on Twitter, and no one blocks my Dave. So
yeah. I was gonna say, do you know what I mean? Like, I think it was last year under Large. Like, every game that he'd started or something, like, Wolves had a really, really good record. And even this season, has he finished our top goal scorer again this season? You know,
joint top, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's still. I mean, it's not an impressive record. Was it 6 goals in the end?
Yeah, it's just a baby.
Yeah, just a baby.
It's just a baby.
But for whatever reason, and recently he's not really been consistently in the lineup. So do you think it is, whilst Wolves can get that little bit of money for him, just let him go? I think he's the type of probably the type of player that would run his contract down as well if we don't sell him.
I'll just sell him. I just think, again, move on. Not very well, like I say, a bit divisive between the fan base for me. His antics on the pitch, the rolling round. I've never really took to him that much. I think, again, talented footballer. I don't necessarily buy he wants to be here. So, again, for me, get rid of sentiment. I'll just get rid of him. Not
tell you what,
thank you.
I hope Matt Hobbs gets paid overtime, because if he does, he'll be able to retire by the end of next season. The amount of work that he's got to do. We've got no players left. Yeah.
Finn, what do you reckon, Podence?
Yeah, it's a shame. He is capable of absolute brilliance, but yeah, it's not been consistent enough or often enough with that. I remember all that. Do you remember like the Hazard propaganda in the early days? Like, yeah, not gone as we hoped, but yeah, probably a sell.
My mates come down from Scotland. They're both Rangers fans for the Leicester game last season at home, and they said like that potentially like Messi, and I was like, yeah, I could see the similarities, but how wrong were they? Because at the time that was that stage, Dave, where we only really used to win with him in the side, and he scored that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, looks miles off that.
Yeah, well, a player who's had some sort of resurgence, Finn, is Hee-chan, and I think people will probably be. And you know what? Let's take our comments from last season. I'm sure it's going to be almost the polar opposite today.
He's not been unbelievable. Like he's
better
been
than,
good.
better than what we expected, I suppose.
It's a low bar though, isn't it, with all of them?
Yeah.
And
Finney's better than Jimenez. I'll tell you that now.
I wouldn't go that far.
I'll bloody
Wouldn't
would.
you? I would as well.
Oh, Hwang. I thought you said Finn's better than Jimenez. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I fear the homegrown rule. But no, if we sold him, the tour would absolutely flop, wouldn't it? So I can't see Hwang going in any world. But no, commercial things aside, I think he's been much better. He's been there for tap-ins, but that's also not necessarily a negative, that we've got someone that can half sniff out a position to be in. So that it's good for next season. It was pretty anonymous at the weekend, but I don't want to let that cloud my judgment that he did get better towards the Lopetegui end of the season. So yeah, keep and hopefully see a little bit more next season.
I think, Jordan, obviously we made comments about him previously, but he's a player Lopetegui likes. Had a great start to that game against Liverpool, which we won at home. But if he can stay fit, he'd be an asset next season, wouldn't he?
I think he's been the most improved player this season. And I know I had some choice comments about him earlier on this season, which I think were valid at the time. And the bleep machine came out. But no, I think he works hard. What he lacks in ability at times from some of the other people in our squad, effort, desire, willingness, running the lines, running the channels, doing the tired stuff. I think he does all that stuff extremely well. And I like him. I like him. I want to keep him around. He's the sort of player that we need in the squad. So surprisingly, I am a Hwang Hee-chan fan now. So yeah, he's keeping him.
Until next month, I'm change your mind again.
No, I've only changed my mind once. So I've gone from
No, there's nothing wrong with changing your mind.
And you can change your mind, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Like, if someone's playing shit at the time, then you don't rate him. If someone's playing has improved, then they've improved. It takes a man to admit they're wrong, Joe.
Yeah. I wasn't wrong at the time, I don't think.
Oh, nearly.
So I think everyone agreed probably with that. Agreed at the time. Yeah. But he's much improved.
Matt, what do you think?
There's a reason why managers seem to really like him without outstanding performances, and I just think he gives you. I mean, if we're judging it on what defensive cover your strikers give you, then he's great. But I think that just shows the position that we're in. Like, he's a good player. He gets on the cover really well. Why he's an inside forward? Why does that matter? So I'd keep him though. I like him.
Matheus Cunha, Matt. Obviously, that deal pretty much made permanent now. Big amount of money. Obviously, a talented footballer though, and obviously still going to be here next season. But is he a player that you're going to be happy to see in the squad next season?
Yeah, really like him. Again, another one who's not a number 9 for as long as I've got old backside. Needs someone to play off, whether that would be someone like Fabio, who I think could play that role. Fabio's really good with his back to goal. I think Victor Gyökeres as well from Coventry could be a shout there. But you need someone to play off. Very talented footballer, overpaid massively. That's not his fault. Same with Fabio. So yeah, keep him. Good player.
Yeah, George, do you agree?
Yeah, very talented footballer. 100% keep him. I do think he's very, I've said it again loads of times, very Bobby Firmino-esque. I don't think he'll ever get his 15 goals a season. He might get 15 goal contributions, but that's a lot more than, Wolves players in the last sort of 3 seasons. So we'll take that for sure. He needs a focal point up there, a mobile focal point, and I feel like that's where we'll see the best of him. I hope that we do see him in a front two, whether that be in a 4-4-2 or 5-3-2, whatever you want to call it. But just for Finn, 5-3-2. 3-5, whatever, just 2 up top. No, 100% a player there. Probably have overpaid for him, but needs must, and Lopetegui wanted him. So, and Atletico Madrid knew that. So, we had to pay it.
Finn, Cunha.
Yeah, it was a lot of money to spend at the time, wasn't he? I think, like we said with Dawson, it's probably the opposite with Cunha in that he hasn't made a massive impact on the season. I think to staying up or going down, but clearly a talented footballer, seems like an infectious personality as well. Seems like a really, really good bloke. And you saw that in the Villa game, the one game that I wasn't there to see live. We saw more in that sort of that playing off Costa and the dribbling ability. So yeah, maybe in a certain formation next season, we could see the best of him.
Finn, Sasa Kalajdzic as well, been a non-existent season for him. Played 45 minutes. Actually looked okay in the 45 minutes he did play, but got an injury, which we won't talk too much about because we've spoken about that this season anyway. But get almost, you'd hope he's back nearly, but get him in the team for pre-season, and I mean he's going to be a key. But I don't think Wolves would sell him on this summer.
No, he'll be injured by the Roma game, won't he, in Korea, the second one. But no, it's just there was that sort of, everyone thought it was a great signing, a decent record, looked exactly like what we needed. But in the back of everyone's mind, you could see that injury record. I think someone tweeted it again, the transfer mark record. It was ridiculous. He's out a lot. I don't know why that is. I saw he said recently that he's feeling better than ever after this ACL, which is never a good sign that there's been several. But no, you can't necessarily rely on him for next season. But spent 18 million, you're not going to get that back, and it's clearly a very good footballer when fit. So but you can't pin all your hopes on him, can you?
I've been told that his missus, I don't think they're married, but his partner has bought a cafe in Tottenham. So if that says he's staying next season, which I think he would have done anyway, I think that says it all, really. George, do you think there is a player there? Do you think there's someone that's going to get game time next season?
Quite truthfully, who knows? It all depends if he can stay fit. He's got more metal in him than Iron Man now in the suit. It's like I don't know. It's probably more robot than human. I don't actually know. Look, he seems a lovely bloke. Bloke. The Sky Sports special come across fantastic. The club stuff. I really hope he keeps fit. But if he's going to make an impact, if he's any good, who knows? And I don't know. I hope he does. Like we saw Johnny come back from an ACL, Neto come back with a dislocated kneecap, and been a shell of themselves. So we just haven't got a yardstick to compare Sasa with before that, really. So hopefully he comes back and he does go well and he stays injury free. I think there's a good chance if we were to and again, I don't think we will, just because where we are. If we were to go big in the transfer window, you might actually see him go out on loan for a little bit to get some games. But keep him for sure.
Yeah. The Sky series that you alluded to, they're definitely worth a watch as well. The Talking Walls make a couple of appearances in it. So, Matt Kalajdzic, keep
him. Yeah, if you can keep him fit, then I think he could have an impact next season. But again, it's keeping him fit, isn't it? It's just difficult.
I'm interested to see how he gets on. Again, I don't think he's going to be a player that gets you tons of goals a season, but definitely a different option. I think in like a 4-4-2 or 5-3-2 fin, whatever you want to play on FIFA.
You wait till the podcast. I'm going to reveal to everyone. We'll do it at the end of the podcast. I'm going to reveal my master plan. It's not what you think.
It's going to be the Christmas pudding, isn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, Kalajdzic we will keep. Matt Chiquinho, again, another player that's been injured for quite a while, but a player that we sort of missed out on this season. Quite exciting end to last campaign. So
yeah, I'd probably loan him out, but only if we re-sign Adama. Similar profiles, I think. I think his delivery is a lot better than Adama's, but he's probably not as good as beating his man. Very much an out and out winger. Yeah, I like him. Again, good bit of business from the club, but I'd loan him out. But I'd want to keep Adama. But if not, he's a good option to have off the bench for a bit of directness.
Yeah, George, what do you reckon, Chiquinho?
I'd loan him, but I've always said the same thing about Chiquinho, that I don't think he's as good as what people make him out to be. In a way that I thought we were pretty shite at the point that he started playing for us. And it was a little bit of excitement. And it reminds me very similar when Jordan Graham come into the team for a bit and put a few balls in. And everyone was like, "Oh, it was the second coming," because he could put a ball in the box and was a bit direct. Yeah. I don't think he was ever as good as what people thought out in terms of being like a mainstay in our team. So I would loan him out. Hopefully, he's come back from the horrific injury. He gets game time, and hopefully he proves me wrong. But I've never been that sold on him, as much as other fans have, anyway.
I think he's a good player. I would have probably kept him. He's back on the pitch now anyway. And I think he'll be close to first day of pre-season. You should be back at it, Finn. What's your stance on him for next year?
Yeah, I was quite sold on him. I think with those 2 assists at Chelsea, then I was fully in then. But I do see the point. it's just really unfortunate. And it's not like sort of the non-contact ACL that Kalajdzic was. It was a real horrible one. So yeah, it's an unfortunate one, and probably a loan. I think I'd like to see a loan. We're going to be. Oh, then again, are we going to be stacked? Because I think we've offloaded quite a few of the wingers in this, have we? I don't know. But yeah, regardless, I think a loan.
Yeah, we're doing all right at the moment. We're doing all right.
Yeah.
I say loan. Okay. Diego Costa, Finn.
Maybe not the 4-year contract that we previously discussed. I think
5.
If he better amortization.
This is my golden buzzer.
I think if it's one of the two, like when Lopetegui's talking about, we can't afford to renew Adama or Costa, which I still can't fully understand, by the way. But if it's one or the other, I'm going for Adama every day. It's just I haven't left with a sour taste with Costa or anything. He's given everything. We got to see that goal as well, the one goal which we'll all treasure. But no, it's a thanks for the memories, thanks for the one goal, and move on.
Jord.
Yeah, just again, there's no room for sentiment for me this season, this going into next season. And thanks for coming, thanks for the effort, thanks for the goal, thanks for the Instagram stories, the craziness. However, if he's our starting striker next year, put your mortgage on us going down. That's all I'd say.
11-2.
Put everything you got on it, because be gamble aware, of course, but put what you want on it, should I say? But if he's our starting striker next year, we'll score less than 31 goals next season that we have this year.
I agree. I don't think it's fully down to the AI. I think, again, like I said earlier,
it's not.
creativity and everything's an issue, but I think he's done well and worked well off scraps, but I do agree that he's not going to score the goals. Matt, I'd let him go, but what are you saying?
All jokes aside, like it's been a laugh, hasn't it? Like it really has been a laugh having him there. It's probably not what you want from your centre forward, it being a laugh. Maybe in Sunday League, maybe not at Premier League level. I think he's improved.
Mm-hmm.
If Wolves are clamouring to find extra pennies down the back of the sofa to give him a new contract, I really question what they're doing. Because I know we've laughed and joked about it, but we shouldn't be re-signing him. We shouldn't now. It's the end of the season. It's time to reflect. You shouldn't be re-signing him. He's been a bit of a stopgap, and it's been a laugh. But yeah, not for me.
Yeah, Adama Traore, Matt, we'll kick off for you on this one.
For me, he's 100% keep him. He gives you something that no one else can. And if you want to, I think if you want to replace him like that, you probably go and get someone like was it Salamara at Southampton, Camaldine.
Yeah.
He's the only player I've seen similar to him where you can just drive past players and take players on for fun. There's a graph I've seen, a bit of data interpretation I've seen the last couple of days. It's like heat maps zone of expected threat per 90, and Wolves' heat map is like bright green in that right wing position, and I can only assume that's come from Adama because there's no one else who plays there and has any kind of threat. So for me, he's 100% keep. I think they will keep him. To be honest, I think the noises are being made. I don't think he's going to go elsewhere. He likes it there, obviously. So yeah, I think keep him. But yeah, it's so exciting. My favourite Wolves player the last 10 years because he's just so exciting to watch.
George Adama, I appreciate Matt's point. I think obviously if you let him go, that you're gonna have to pay a decent amount of money to get somebody else in. But just then goal contributions for the money that he wants, it's not quite there, is it?
Doesn't stack up for me.
No.
I completely agree with everything Matt said, by the way. But yeah, I think for the money he wants, okay, there's probably three things. The money he wants, I don't think he's value for money. Number two, he isn't as good as he thinks he is, because I think he thinks he should be playing for the Champions League side.
I don't think he does anymore.
I think he does still. I think he thinks he'd go to like Napoli and all the. I generally do. And yeah, third of all as well, I don't think he wants to be here. and I think he's a problem. I think if he's floating out and about now looking for clubs in terms of like his agent will be, we're his backup option. I don't think that's a good place for us to be as a club either. And again, maybe we can't be picky in that sort of sense. Maybe we've got to accept that, you know, Adama Traore would rather be playing in Seville or Napoli or Milan than Wolverhampton. But again, it's that thing of I only want players at this year. Oh, sorry,
I'd be worried if his agent wasn't banding him about though, because
I
like
agree.
it's
No, I
uncertain at
completely
Wolves.
agree.
Like he's got a job to do, hasn't he? But
yeah, I don't blame that. Then, like, that's what I'm saying. I don't blame that at all. But I think next year, more so than anything, and that goes with the manager as well. I only want people at this club who want to be here. I know we'll touch on the manager's situation probably, on the pod later on the week. But if you don't want to be here, like, politely, you can fuck off, because we'll just end up going down. It's right. I'm trying to be honest.
The issue with Adama is, and I think I might have said it on the pod. You know, he had a big part in that goal against Everton. You need to see that from him every other game or once or twice a month. But the issue is with Adama, for every good game he has like that, he's got 5 crap games in him or 6 crap games. And unfortunately, it's too often than not where it almost feels like we're playing with 10 men. Because if you cannot get him on the ball, then he's no outlet. There's no point in him being on the football pitch.
That season where obviously he got all the plaudits, him and Raul, when we got to the Europa League quarter-final, I think it was a goal contribution 1 every 3 games or something. That's why everyone was raving about him. Like this season, I'd probably say it's probably 1 in 10, 1 in 12. Without looking at the stats, it's probably felt like that the last couple. Yeah.
What's he got? What, 2 goals and what? A couple of assists, if that? So it's going to be more than that, isn't it?
And that's what I mean. He's probably going to want the best. I reckon his agent's floating him at least 120 grand a week. Because he's a free transfer.
There was a story. There was a story the other day from Italy about it. I think it was extortionate. I think, but I still think you're talking sort of between. I can't remember if it was 80k or 60k. Probably closer to 80, I would say. But it's still a lot of money.
It is,
especially for a club in a financial situation, you know. So.
It's just it works out a lot cheaper than replacing him, doesn't it? And then paying whoever that is wages as well. But yeah, it's like that with every player in that situation. I see both sides. I agree with both. It's a really strange one, isn't it? And it's off the back of an Everton game. You really want to keep him. Off the back of 95% of the games this season, you wouldn't be too mad at losing him. I think I would keep him in the situation that we're in if we can afford it. But I wouldn't want to see him play for anyone. I almost forget that he played for Barcelona as well. It'd be sad to see him in another show because he's been our sort of like special unique player.
Class that was. Ideally, if you were going to loan him out, you needed an obligation. Completely flopped that. I mean, this is probably the hardest one. What do you reckon? Matt's obviously saying keep. Finn,
I'm saying keep.
Jordan, you will let go.
I don't think he wants to be here. If he wants to be here, keep him. But I don't think he wants to be here.
I can appreciate the keep points, but I think we've all got. It's one of them where I think if Wolves announce a contract extension right now, I'd be like, okay, fair enough. But I'm not going to be overexcited about it. We'll lean with keep for Adama. I think I probably know everybody's answer for this, but Goncalo Guedes, probably the biggest waste of money in the history of this football club.
Yeah, and another one on the topic of didn't want to be here. It seemed like he didn't want to be here from the start. A few flashes. I mean, that goal at Brighton, an average performance at Spurs, and a tap in at Liverpool. Not worth 27 million. So it's just whether you loan him. What would you get for him now off the back of this season that's just ended in an injury and nothing much? Do you loan him to try and increase that? Are you still gonna have to be paying a part of that wage? I don't know. Yeah, all round.
He wasn't even starting for Benfica, was he? Well, he was on the bench at Benfica most of the season. Like when I was in.
It's so weird.
When I was in Lisbon, he was when they needed to win. He was on the bench against. I think they played Porto when they needed to win the league at that point. And I think he was unused sub, or he'd come on late on.
He's had a couple of injuries as well, so that might be why. I mean, Jordan, if it's an option, you sell him, don't you? I think you're going to take a loss on him. You just got to take the hit. You're not going to make your money back on him.
Oh, 100%. And I think in tribute to the video that Jonah made of me, 2 words, Goncalo Guedes, get fucked.
Matt, how do you follow that up?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't put it better myself. I don't waste the money. Why on earth would you sign a player? And why on earth were Wolves, Jeff saying, been after him for 2 or 3 years when he quite clearly didn't want to come?
I wonder. It took 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, like I don't get it. I just do not get it.
It's a shame because he had a really good season for Valencia. Obviously a talented footballer, but for whatever reason, just hasn't worked out. Fabio Silva, rumours as of today that there's other clubs looking at him, possibly loaning him out. Wolves in an ideal world don't want to sell. Obviously the situation may have changed the last couple of weeks. What do you think?
It all depends where the player wants to be. I think if you bring him back, you've got to make sure he's getting minutes. Otherwise, it's pointless for everyone. I think that would well and truly rub him the wrong way, and he wouldn't want to have anything to do with Wolves. I think if you're going to bring in another striker, a loan for him, so I mean, even back at PSV, but with Van Nistelrooy not being there anymore, I don't know, it's difficult, isn't it? I think another loan or bring him back, but give him a chance, because there's no point bringing him back to sit on the bench.
Yeah, I think George probably, if you bring him back, you give him maybe a run of first 10 games of the season or whatever. There's no point in giving him on 60 minutes and giving him 5 minutes and then in 15 minutes, You've seen this season what happens when he's had a good run of games.
Yeah, I think it's like, I think again referred to it on the pod a while back, but Fabio Silva's only coming back to Wolves if he gets guarantees he's our number 9, starting week in, week out next year. And we're not in a position to give anyone guarantees like that. So I don't think he'll kick a ball again for Wolves. Whether I want to keep him or not, I honestly do not think he'll play in a Wolves shirt again. I think we'll sell him or loan him out and he'll go out with an obligation or an option. But I don't think he wants to be here unless he's guaranteed to start football games for us.
Would you keep him though? If there's an option to keep him, would you keep him? Yeah.
Absolutely. But I just, again, going back to what I said about a couple picks ago on the players, it's like, I don't want to keep players that don't want to be here because you see what happens. Like, if you don't want to be here, get rid of and that goes for all of it. Like anyone that don't want to be here, just get rid of them as quick as you can because we need to be pulling in one direction next. And that sounds corny, but it's true. Like it'll just we need to get the harmony back in the squad and the togetherness that I don't think's there.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, Finn, what do you reckon?
It's one that's almost on him, isn't it? I'd like to see him given that starting role, and I think Matt mentioned it earlier. I think that almost the attributes of Silva and Cunha could work really well in a front two. But going through this whole list, it's worrying how many players are reportedly don't want to be here. I know it's almost those first few seasons of in the Premier League. It was the recruiting thing was Wolves are on the up, but you've got to live in Wolverhampton and not London. It seems to be the playing side isn't too attractive. It's not great football. Wolverhampton and everything's sort of conspiring against us. So, yeah, it's another one that I want to keep and another one that might not want to be here. But for me, he's a keep and a start. Yeah, I think I'd give him what he wants that playing time.
Let's hope so. I really want to see him stay. But again, I think it's another situation where Wolves won't make their money back. It was a player that we obviously spent way too much on at the time. But there's a player there, and I know there's certain fans that, aren't happy with the signing. But I think if you actually watch him, he's a very intelligent footballer. And again, it comes down to the lack of creativity. We've had 3, 4, 5 strikers playing this team and been crap for the last 3 years. That's not a coincidence. I think it's just the lack of creativity in this side. Quick fire for the last two, Finn. Theo Corbanu, currently out on loan in Germany, 2nd division. Is this the time to sell him now, do you reckon?
Well, I saw. Did we tweet out that there was some interest from EFL clubs? Yeah, that was it. Maybe give him that. It's so. I really thought that he was above the 2nd division of Germany, and I don't think he's got a single contribution, has he? So maybe we sort of overhyped him. He's probably touching 22, 23 by now, is he? So maybe a sell, but it's almost like his value so low. Maybe in Oxford. Is he 20? Oh, maybe not. Yeah, give him the Oxford loan then. But realistically, sell or keep. Sell or loan. Not too fussed either way.
George?
He's never going to play for us, is he? So never going to make an impact in our current situation. So yeah, sell, loan, whatever he wants to do. Let him do it.
Matt, we're talking about a Canadian international here.
I know, man. Holy smokes!
I
I know why Dave wants to get rid of him. By the way,
I ain't said a word.
What about Wrexham? What about Wrexham? If he's Canadian,
don't change the subject.
What about Wrexham? Yeah.
Yeah, what about Wrexham? I'd keep him just so he can keep coming round your save. I'd get rid of him. Yeah, very good.
Sell. Yeah. A resounding sell. Wow. And Chem Campbell, Matt.
Loan.
Chem Campbell, loan. Jord.
I'd glow on him as well. I think there might be some. Give him one more year on loan. I think there might be something there.
Yeah, he's had a decent stint at Wickham, second half of the season. Got a few goals for them. Apparently, Wolves looking towards a championship loan if they can next season, which would be a good step up for him. Only 20 years of age still. Seems like he's been around for ages. Obviously, I think Nuno gave him his debut when he was 17, I think. Or even younger than that. So let's wait and see anyway. But that is all for, unless Finn's going to tell me I've missed a player out, that is all for our loan, sell, keep series ahead of the 23-24 season. Guys, hopefully you've enjoyed it. As always, be sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't caught the goalkeepers, defenders, and the midfielder parts, feel free to go and check those out as well. Matt, George, Finn, thank you very much for jumping on and joining me for this. And please drop a like, subscribe to Talking Wolves for all of the transfer news and latest Wolves news throughout the summer. And until next time, we'll catch you all very, very soon.